Are you thinking about bringing home a squishy-faced little goofball, but you're stuck between the French Bulldog and a Boston Terrier? Well, you're not alone because these two breeds are hugely popular, and at first glance, they look pretty similar. Hello, I'm Melanie. I'm founder of The Pup Mommy, and I help people find the perfect breed for themselves, their family, their lifestyle, personality, and one that they're able to safely handle. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the French Bulldog and the Boston Terrier and which would be the perfect breed for you of the two. You know, the truth is, these two dogs really are very different dogs once you live with them. So let's break it down in terms of size, look, personality, health, and more, so you can figure out which one's the better fit for you. And full disclosure, if you haven't seen already behind me, I've had a Boston Terrier in my canine crew all my dog-owning life, since growing up with them at the age of 6. So, yes, you might perceive some bias, but I love Frenchies nonetheless. So let's dive in. First, let's start with size and build. Now, French Bulldogs are compact and dense. Think of them as a kettlebell with ears. They're about, I'd say, 11 to 13 inches tall, and the AKC says that they should weigh, and their breed club also says they should weigh somewhere under 28 pounds. But in real life, well, you'll meet plenty of them who hit 30 pounds and a little more and still think they're lap dogs. Boston Terriers, though, are built more like what I'd say are featherweight boxers. Same height range, but lighter on their feet and a little bit more athletic. They typically weigh between 12 and 25 pounds. In fact, I have two Bostons right now who are right on the 25-pound mark, and they have a squarer, more balanced type of structure. So, in other words, think of the Frenchie as the kettlebell and the Boston as the bouncy rubber ball. Next comes appearance and breed standard. Well, this is where things really kind of get interesting because Frenchies come with the bat ears, rounded at the tip, a square head, and a cute, adorable, wrinkly face. Their tails are naturally short, and they're famous for that roach back and that waddly little strut. Boston Terriers, on the other hand, have a sleeker silhouette. They still have pointy bat ears, and their signature tuxedo coat comes in black, brindle, or seal with very crisp white markings. So in terms of lifespan, both breeds are somewhere between 10 to 13 years old, but that also depends on their health. Now, personality, temperament-wise, French Bulldogs are stocky little teddy bears with attitude. They're sweet, they're loyal, low-drama dogs who love their people. They're not exactly overachievers in the obedience department, but they are champions of the cuddle Olympics. They're generally active, they're alert and playful, but they're not what you'd call boisterous. They're kind of like that friend who shows up for brunch, makes everyone laugh, but needs a nap at 2 p.m. Boston Terriers, on the other hand, oh God, they're comedians. They are quirky comedians. Some are calmer, but still outgoing. All of them are affectionate, eager to please, surprisingly sensitive as well. While others, you know, some of the other Bostons, like my Chipper, for example, and my Thumper now, are ball and toy warriors. Oh, stealing and hoarding toys, that is their specialty. With my little Boston Spunky, he was into everything. No potato was safe. Hostas and tomato plants met an early death. Now, both Bostons and Frenchies like to be where the fun is. It's just that they approach it in different ways. Now, as for energy, this too is where the breeds split. Frenchies are what I would say more low-energy companions. You know, a short couple of walks, a tug-of-war, and they're good for the day. They really don't like the heat, exercise, or as I said earlier, drama. So if they're perfect for you if your idea of cardio is a walk to the fridge. With Boston Terriers, they're a little more moderate energy, but in short, intense bursts. Zoomies are a specialty with so many Boston Terriers. They're sprinters, but they're not marathoners. Although I have in many times taken my Bostons for walks of 2 to 3 miles, but we frequently stop for breaks. They got to sniff around, they got to look around, and we just stop, take a breather, and then we continue walking. Now, my little Allegra, she is a rocket outside in the backyard. She can run down my shepherds with no problem at all. So with both Frenchies and Bostons, they do need a few play sessions or walks each day to keep them sane. But you're going to find that with all dogs. Now, in terms of health concerns, let's be real honest here. Both breeds are brachycephalic, which means they have that flat, pushed in, smooshed in face. That comes with a long list of potential health concerns, especially for Frenchies. French Bulldogs are prone to certain issues. Now, that's the key word here, prone. Does that mean that these issues are going to happen to your dog? No. It is something that you should be aware of. And those health issues could be breathing issues, spinal problems, allergies, skin infections, eye issues, and Frenchies almost always require C-sections to reproduce. So vet bills can rack up really quickly, and pet insurance might not be a bad idea. With Boston Terriers, yes, they are still flat-faced, still sensitive to heat, still known for their big buggy eyes, which can get scratched, develop ulcers, or cataracts, which is something that is happening with my Thumper right now. My ball warrior Chipper would frequently come down with eye problems because he'd just keep bouncing the ball and it would eventually, boom. So we'd always end up with a vet visit and antibiotics. Now, many Bostons, like the Frenchies, also require C-sections to reproduce, and let's not forget that some Bostons have patellar luxation, which is slipping kneecaps, which is common. Not necessarily, again, going to happen to you, but it's out there. So overall, I would say Boston Terriers tend to be a little hardier than Frenchies. And yes, since we're talking about health and all that, then we come to the muzzle, the Boston Terrier muzzle. Now, there are Bostons out there with slightly elongated, longer muzzles. The reason supposedly being that they breathe better, they cool off easier, but this is very important. The longer muzzle Bostons are not breed standard. The Boston Terrier Club of America, as well as the AKC, do not support changing the face of the breed. And the longer muzzle Bostons usually don't come from the preservation breeders, meaning the showline breeders. Now, part of the problem is that you really can't tell necessarily by looking at the puppies. You have to look at the parents to know what you're getting, what you're buying. So just be sure that if you decide on a Boston Terrier, you know exactly what it is you are buying. Don't pay breed standard prices for non-breed standard dogs. So who would be good owner? Who would be a good owner for a Frenchie or a Boston? Well, if you're a couch potato, you live in an apartment, and you just want a lovable little shadow to keep you company and keep you laughing, the Frenchie is your dog. If you're active-ish, enjoy a dog that plays hard, naps harder, and you want a breed that's more than a little goofy, a Boston might be the better fit. Both breeds are incredible for families and individuals who really enjoy that snuggle-buggle interaction. So, French Bulldog or Boston Terrier? There's no wrong answer as long as you're honest about your lifestyle and your limits. These breeds want to be with you. So if your lifestyle means long hours away or tons of travel without your dog, neither is a great fit. And with Bostons, I've lived with both breed standard and non-breed standard dogs. And what matters most? That they're a good fit for you. So if you're still not sure, I help people just like you find the right breed and avoid costly, heartbreaking mistakes. You'll find a link to book a call with me, completely complimentary, in the description section, as well as a link to my website so you can find out more about me. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. I do very much appreciate it. If you have any comments or questions, if you own a Boston or Frenchie and you are just as passionate about your dog as I am about mine, leave a comment below. With that, thank you very much again for watching, and don't forget to click and subscribe, and I will say bye for now.